Hi folks, Andreas Metzen here from Momentum Advisory. Today I want to talk about the loss of a child. It's part of my Cognizant Life playlist, and I've been wanting to talk about this topic for a while now. And I just wanted to share my thoughts as of now about losing your own child. So the death of your own child, to say it directly. We lost our middle son. We have three sons, and we lost the middle one at the age of 17. He was due to a tragic accident, and it came as life and death comes out of nowhere, and it's a completely unbearable loss because it's so close. So if you're out there watching, I get it. It's a very extreme feeling. It's like cutting your one of your limbs off, losing something that's so close, and naturally so, because we foster our children, protect them till they're adults, and even when they're adults, we still look over them. So losing your child and having to bury your own child is an extremely difficult situation. There's many things I can talk about of the experience, and there's many YouTube videos out there for sure on advice on this topic. Let's start maybe with reactions of other people around you. I would tell you, you will get feedback or help or support out of the most unexpected corners, and people that you think or kind of expect to step up will not, and are maybe not able to. I've noticed that many people don't know how to approach a person who has lost a child or lost a loved one, for that matter. And you have to understand, while you're in this, and I'll use childish commentary here, crappy situation, not everybody is able to talk about it with you. While it's so simple in a way, I would tell people who want to help people who have lost a child or lost a loved one, just be present, offer yourself, talk about it. Sometimes just being there and creating a moment, not a fleeting moment where you ring the doorbell, say hi, I just wanted to say hi, and go inside, and then you have a shallow conversation. Give it some time so that the other person could maybe open up, and you can create that by just being open to this pain yourself when you go into and trying to help a friend or a relative or something, and just be there, be open for the pain. And that's why I think a lot of people can't address this with their friends or relatives, because they're avoiding the pain, basically, when they meet the other person. On the other side, there's people who do exactly the opposite. They fully get involved, identify with a loss. I've had a friend from a local sports club who was standing alongside when we were taking our son, to his final resting place in his coffin, and he was completely deteriorated. I mean, he has a child himself, and I could see how he completely identified with the situation, and as if it was his own child. So you have these extremes, so to say. They say, and I would say the same, people deal with the loss differently. Everybody has their own little flavor of it. So I would say, do reach out to people who you think could support you, and maybe even who you expect to support you, and talk about it. Take that hurdle of, I don't know, saying that it happened. Sometimes you might be in situations, depending where you don't want to bring it up, maybe work-related situations and things like this where it may be known but not talked about. I would say do bring it up. Like in the work situation, of course it's going to affect you. It's going to be on your mind, and it's going to be on your mind technically forever, I would argue. And the strong emotions, for sure, I would say that first year is definitely a tough one, and it doesn't stop there. In the first year, you basically walked through every day without that person, and it is somewhat of a milestone, but it doesn't make it go away after that, so to say. So do bring it up at work where you feel fit. You might be also in a situation with people that you don't want to bring it up, or where you might find it inappropriate, or where you yourself don't have the energy to bring it up, because it drains. I would say reach out to support groups, and there is support groups online. There is support groups typically locally, like in the town we have. My wife is using a local support group, and it does good. There's people who have some education on dealing with grief and loss, and they can help you in the most sense that they're just there for you to talk to, and can be there, and you can kind of spill your guts on what's on your mind, so to say. And I think it's helpful to talk about it. I've noticed because we've now met other people who have had losses, and I've noticed there is lots of flavors of death, or lots of flavors of losing somebody, like suicide, illness, accidents, probably the typical ones, so to say. And they each have their own story and details and so forth, so they all raise the same question usually to the people left behind, and it's like the big why. Why does a 17-year-old have to cease to be able to fulfill his life and become an old man in this case, or why does a baby or even a younger child have to die? Why does somebody have to have an accident and be ripped out of this life? So I think each family, each person involved does dwell then on the I want to say the mechanisms of the death, how it occurred, and you walk through these scenarios also in the sense of, could have this been avoided? Why did it happen? Why didn't I do this, or why didn't I do that? Then it would have not happened, and this kind of things. In my analysis, so to say, I've noticed that life is exactly this fragile, and it's exactly these thousands and millions of little chances that sometimes coincide and create these tragedies. Not to say that some of these may not be prevented, but you can't prevent life from unfolding itself. I would say it like this. So when you do look at the situations, whatever the reason is for the loss of your child or a loved one, try to catch yourself and remind yourself that A, you're not your thoughts when you go into this, and B, maybe you can come to this conclusion. Okay, it happened. These were some of the reasons, some of the factors, some of the coincidences that happened. And it may even be also coincidences or factors that have played out over years that then ultimately lead to that, to that moment of where it happened. So I think it's okay to look at it. You just be careful about not getting lost in it. And then also not, starting to blame yourself, blame others, blame the person who died. Because ultimately we all try to do our best and do our, best on living and make our choices. So don't be careful about starting the blame, and be forgiving if you find something to be blamed for. Sometimes things just happen, and that's the way it is, so to say. I think there's also other aspects I wanted to talk about, like what could maybe help you. I found music to become important. I've found a song from Greg Morgan, "The Father, My Son, and the Holy Ghost." It's a country song, or it's a country style song, where Greg Morgan, who has lost his son in a boating accident, a tubing accident on the lake, I believe it was a couple of years back, talks about the loss of his son and how he felt, and that kind of captured a lot of things that I felt. And it wraps it in this case in a Christian belief, that you will see, he will see his son again when he passes, and then he will meet again. So, which touches on faith. I was talking about music, but it touches directly with faith here. So, I think music can be helpful. I would also give the same advice: don't get lost in it, because you will trigger emotions, and it can help you, I don't want to say breed, but walk you through your emotions and allow you to go deeper in your emotions, because sometimes you have to allow this utterly ridiculous loss, and it's difficult. And you sometimes with the music you can reach deeper and go down another layer, and then the emotions may pop out, and you can live through them to allow them in this case. So see if music can be of help. Maybe also uplifting themes, and you will find something. I would argue, it'll occur. Something will attach itself to you in terms of music. I just touched on faith, and I want to talk about this because that's a big topic, and I think it's a core topic about losing a child. Makes it extremely direct. When you lose your grandparents, maybe even your elderly parents, that's I want to say more natural. A 17-year-old dying at this age is statistically very, very seldom. And it asks the big questions of life, so what is life for? Was that it? Will we see the person again? Is there, the whole topic about what do we believe happens after death is open. This whole chapter is opened. And if you haven't thought about this in your life when it happens to you, then this will directly slap the topic in your face. And it's difficult on top of the loss, because you are reminded of your own mortality. You're reminded of the mortality of everybody around you. You don't know if you're driving up and down the highway and somebody else, because a truck driver loses the control over the vehicle, rams into you, and you're gone, as an example. Or less dramatic, you swallow something and you get choked and nobody's there to help you, and then you're gone. Or, just your body caves in and whatever, you have a heart attack and you're gone. So we never know. And this losing somebody slaps this topic right in your face and kind of makes you deal with it, because else you have to shove all this away. And we're pretty good at this as humans, of shoving stuff away and not looking at it again. But this kind of loss makes you look directly at it. The loss then of that person, and the loss, the potential fragility, not potential, life is fragile, the fragility of life, and also the potential of losing other ones around you. When I was going to the scene of the accident that happened, I was walking up and down, and I told myself, this is not the movie that I booked. This is not the plot that I thought my life would take. And I realize now, this is insane to believe that we're, the creators of all of our content of our life, and to believe in this stability of the universe, for that matter, and for the life around us. It's not like this, and we we hear other people having accidents and things happening, good and bad, and we always, well, in this case, it's always like I was happy, everything was going well in my life, so to say, and then bam, this happens. So it throws this question right at you. What do you believe in? What is it with life? What's the purpose of life? What do you believe happens after life? And you can look at that, and it can be a very healing and fulfilling exercise, so to say, to go through and look at it and question yourself. If you are a member of a church or a belief, you can double check on it and see if that gives you support. Like the Christian belief of, well, we might see each other again in heaven, and that can be really soothing for you if you understand what it means and how it's meant, and that then it's kind of like you don't have to. The loss is temporary in the sense that you have to be patient until you can meet again. There's other religions. I can talk a little bit about Buddhist, or Hindu. This belief of reincarnation or rebirth. So it's anyway, this consciousness is not lost. It's transferred into a new life, and in that sense, since we're all connected, there's never a real loss. A loss occurs, but we only feel this loss because we're kind of attached to ourselves. If it makes any sense. Not understanding that we're actually all connected anyway, and you shouldn't feel that loss. And it also asks you, what is your purpose? What are you going to use the time for that you're on this planet? And how do you treat the people around you, close or even far? The stranger on the street. It is asking this question. So look into faith. It may also mean that you look into science. I don't mean to be religious about it per se, because I anyway think this is an intersection here that you're talking about. And you can look at some of my other podcasts on consciousness and orchestrated object reduction, for example. Check it out. It speaks about where consciousness creates or is created in the human brain. You can also look at it from a scientific perspective and completely atheistic, and look at it because it throws this right in your face in a way. I think the healing is a process that everybody goes through in their own pace and in their own style. If, like ourselves, you have other children, do touch base with them and talk about it, because what I just described they also are going through. Now, we have two other sons. One is older and one is younger, and it is, and I can only sense it because I haven't had this experience for like a 15-year-old or 20-some-year-old. This is a stiff blow to endure, to lose your brother in this case. Be there for them, talk about it, help them articulate it, help them, with information, give you views that they also clear that you're thinking about it. Offer them maybe, opportunities to remember, like rituals that you have done in the past, to just that person who was lost to still be present and do that, so that they can talk about it. Like I printed my youngest, I offered him to print, framed canvas pictures of his older brother, and he liked it, and he printed a bunch of them. It was not very expensive to do, and so his images of him are hanging in his room. So that, I think, helped him to remind him. And I think the kids also, the younger kids, and maybe even the older, the 20-year-old, they also go to their friends and kind of touch base and build their support network in their peer group, because like at teenage years, you may not talk with your parents despite having a good relationship with them about everything that you might talk to somebody at your age. So I think it's maybe also natural that they will look for other channels. But be sure to touch in with them. Between wife and husband, it's I can't tell you how difficult it is, for the mother to lose their child. I don't know. It's exponentially more horrific to me. And when I put myself in the shoes of my wife, it's just I implode, so to say, because it's even more unbearable. Because ultimately, she created him, and he lived with her inside the first couple of months, and fostered him and took care of him, more directly in the younger years, up to teens, so to say, than I ever did. So it's be there as much as you can for your wife. Talk about it also there. You can also seek support jointly to discuss it. I think I want to close with a thought on life and death in general. Let's be clear. Death starts the moment you are created. Because if you really look at it and understand it correctly, life is nothing but little death. We don't stay the same. I believe the statistic is within 7 years, every cell of our body has been renewed, as an example. And the whole cosmos is ever changing. The earth is spinning around its own axis. It's spinning around the sun on its trajectory, and the sun around the black hole in a way, and so forth. Everything is in motion. Everything is always changing. And inside your body, everything is changing. And believing or thinking everything is stable is a true illusion. And in that sense, these losses are natural, but as I say, in the human experience, they're unbearable, because that's who we are. We care. And for our children, this is the ultimate. We're programmed to reproduce and then foster our children and protect them. And then to lose them is just beyond speech to explain how this loss hurts. And to move on from that is a difficult feat, a very difficult feat. Particularly, like if you take a horse, the horse is born, and within, I think it's minutes probably, if not hours, the horse can stand on their feet. And if you look at a human child, we humans take care of our children a long, long time till they move out. It's years, for some decades maybe, and it's difficult. When you lose a child, it's it doesn't get much closer than that. Your partner, of course, family, relatives, but the child is so close. There's so many moments, and it's just this effect of it stopping is just very difficult. But I want to say, like what I said, that's life. You need to look at death to understand life. And it's painful. We avoid that pain, but that is it. If you look around and you pay attention closely, it's always life and death, or changes, you can call it that. It's ever changing. So feel free to comment on the video. I'll happily give you my 2 cents worth of opinion about topics, or maybe I can be of help. I would appreciate that. If you liked the video, give me a like, subscribe to the channel. Like I said, there's also other content that relates to this on the Cognizant Life playlist, so to say. So you can subscribe to the channel not to miss out on videos that I will upload about this topic. So hope you enjoyed this. I know it's a very difficult topic, and trust me, it's a difficult topic for myself, extremely difficult topic for myself. But that's life. Let's live it. Let's make the best of it. See you in the next video.